We're recording.
I have 508 you guys got.
505, 506,
506?
505.
505. Very good. You have a copy of the meeting minutes from May. And I have a copy, only one copy here that I had from March, never got approved.
So do you want to make a
I
motion to approve May's minutes?
Yeah,
Making a meeting.
and one to approve March's
March.
minutes.
All right, make a motion to approve March's minutes and May's.
Okay. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, good. Well, with that cleaned up, caught up.
Do you want to do anything?
Huh?
You want to say we're all for it or not, or discussion?
Well, is there any discussion?
Nope.
Okay. And, well, let's just dive into the, deal. So you guys can
Okay.
begin with.
Yeah, I'll start off with the runway project and the 18B survey. So last month, if you remember, the commission approved moving forward with the 18B survey as long as Mass DOT was covering the apron project at 100%, which they are. So we went ahead and submitted that grant application to the FAA, and we are just waiting on that project to get funded. Once it does, the 18B survey will commence. Just as a reminder, the local share for the 18B survey is expected to be paid for with the underruns from the runway project. And the numbers are in here, they're the same from last month and I think the previous month. And I'll leave them in there just until we get to the point where we close this project out.
Yep.
As you can see, the apron is torn up, so they were out there today removing the pavement. The expectation is they'll be back possibly Friday. It may spill into early next week because they're waiting on the compaction results from the subgrade that's out there. So once that's approved, then they'll be back to do the paving for that project. Additionally, Raymakers will be out here next week for a lot of the punch list items that still need to be cleaned up from the runway project. The electrical equipment that was previously on back order has been received. That is going to be installed next week as well. I think there's going to be a training session. Isabel, you probably know better than I do on that. That's the 10th on Monday. So they'll be here to go over all that with you. If there's any questions from that, certainly let us know and we'll make sure that we work with them to come back and resolve.
He also said he'd be removing the transformer and all the old junk out of the closet after
Good,
late next week.
Yeah.
good.
He said that the guys, they've got to get the rest of the stuff put in. And then the company that they bought it from since has a representative here.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if Andrew was talking to me about it a little bit because he had talked to Tom, I guess. And I don't know, we may end up, I don't know if they'll have that panel working yet or not. They've got to run through some tests on it when they put it together. It says sometimes that can take 2 days, but for the most part, it's going to be ready Monday or Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, and hopefully we get some training.
Yep.
In
Excellent.
the middle of that.
Yep, and so once all that stuff's in and everything's up and running, we do need to schedule that flight inspection for all the navgates. Good news is that's already been paid for, so the monetary portion of that's completed. We just need to get on FAA's schedule. So once that's all in, sometime next week, after next week, we get the green light, we'll go ahead and get that scheduled for you guys.
Because the reels are not working yet.
Correct.
And I think
Tom Cullen said he has to be there during that.
Yeah, well,
They will contact him and he will adjust. And he
That's
said they go to different airports, they do it all together. So if there's a problem, he'll go out and do whatever they told him to do. They'll fly somewhere else, then they'll come back in an hour and
Yep.
test it again.
that's exactly correct. So we'll make sure that all the parties that need to be here are here, including Tom, and we'll get that taken care of.
Okay.
So that's really all I have for an update for the apron runway electrical. If there's any questions, happy to answer.
Mr. Beckner was here today, and I talked to him at some length, and he would like Raymakers to go down and take a look. He had his backhoe down there today, and he cleaned off the tops of everything
Yep.
so that they could see
Okay,
and he wanted to know what.
Okay,
what
I haven't
they
been down
would
that way,
Be
because
doing
I had
for
the,
that.
we had originally put the two of them in contact with each other,
I
so
don't know if they've ever talked to one another.
we'll remind Raymaker to reach out.
What's Dan
Yep.
was gonna talk to him, I
Yeah, the guy
think.
said Dan was
But-
the one who was,
I don't know who's gonna be here. You got somebody coming tomorrow or no?
It depends on whether or not Rainmakers is coming back to do any work. If so, we will. Doesn't seem
Okay.
like they're going to be, it may not be till Friday.
He's
He
down
said
there
not till
doing
Monday.
cutting the,
Yeah.
doing Fitchburg. Is where he was planning on being, and I don't know if they're gonna
So
do that.
sounds like Monday, but what I will do is I will talk to either Danny or Andrew.
Yeah, because
and have-
when I see Dan, I'll take him down there. I showed him before he did back and did anything. I didn't realize he had opened it up.
Yeah,
But,
we'll remind him.
okay.
How are we making out with the grass and the paint on the runway, the numbers?
That's all part of the punch list items, that stuff's not expected to take place until next week.
Okay.
Right. They
want to do it all at the same time,
Yep.
rather than
Good.
coming back
Yeah,
multiple
exactly.
try
times.
and get it all done.
I get it.
Exactly.
But he said the pavement companies are the ones that are questionable.
Yeah.
Because of the amount.
Any other questions
Okay.
on that? If not,
So I
I'll
think,
turn it over to Jackie for
Yep.
a master plan update.
Great, thank you so much. So, following the commission meeting last month in May, I had forwarded chapter 4 and chapter 5, that is the forecast chapter and the facility requirements chapter to FAA and Mass DOT. Good news is that we received FAA's formal approval letter for the forecast on the 22nd of May. So that's all set. I provided, like I said, chapter 5 to both agencies. I received comments back from FAA on the 24th of May. I've made all the necessary revisions required by FAA to the chapter. Was waiting on comments from Mass DOT, which I finally received yesterday, pretty late in the afternoon. So I've been working a little bit today to get through those comments. And as soon as I'm able to address all of those things, I will provide a red line document and a comment matrix to both agencies, also to Jim and Isabel. I'll include you on that correspondence, and then hopefully we can get that finalized. Once Chapter 5 is completed, we should look to schedule a meeting with the agencies to talk about project alternatives. We have started. Just some preliminary work on the alternatives, so we'll have something to bring to the discussion. And, from there, it's been just a little bit of a waiting game. Robert and I have also been facing that with the question on the beacons. Trying to get some answers from OE AAA on those, and sometimes it's just a little bit, slow for people to review things and respond. I know they have a lot of, different documents that they're reviewing and things like that. So we're just keeping on prodding them. And,
They have training classes too. They say, I'll be in training next week, but I'll be reading my emails.
Yeah. So they're pretty good. FAA New England region is really, Colleen's been really, really phenomenal in turning things around with the master plan. So it's that's been really good. So we're just kind of, like I said, getting chapter 5 buttoned up, and we'll move into those other the other chapters. Really, all that's left are the alternatives evaluation, and then doing the scheduled improvements, which will ultimately become the airport's capital improvement plan and the airport layout plan that depicts all the facilities that the commission ultimately decides on. So that's really all. I have no actions required for the commission on the master plan this month. Does anyone have any questions about the master plan project, any concerns? Things you need to take back to the office?
did the chapter 4 updates that I received with the red burning on, is that the final draft?
It will be the final, yeah, that will be
Okay.
the final, because FAA saw the markups
Yeah.
and has now formally approved that forecast. So I can remove all the markups, and
Just,
What I'll probably do is I'll probably wait until chapter 5 is final and then compile, all the chapters together and then send it back so we can put that up on the website and get that, those kind of,
Right.
draft final, if you will, chapters up on the website.
okay, I was just wondering, because I had tried to, I read through the whole thing, and, and then I wanted to do it with chapter 5, but I didn't get to it today. I've been wrestling with the internet.
Yeah, well, if you have any comments, I'm working through, like I said, through Mass DOT's comments. I expect to be finished with those early next week, so if you have any comments, between now and then, just give me a call and I can add in those revisions, anything that, you might see or questions that you might have.
Messed up on or something, missed. Yeah.
But they, the comments were really, they're relatively minor, some updates to some figures and stuff like that.
Makes sense,
So, yep, they're always really helpful, so.
Yeah.
Anything else on the master plan? Okay, and as far as the wildlife hazard site visit, we're just waiting on funding for the project, so, everything's been submitted and that's really.
Birds and turtles are everywhere.
They're still there,
All
okay.
over the place.
All over the
Yeah.
place, okay. Well, you'll have a nice report that will show that, once that report, is.
It's pretty difficult knowing because we have to watch, look ahead.
Yeah, chew the turtles up.
I don't want to.
I picked
I
up,
think I picked one
I
on.
picked 2 of them up.
Yeah,
They were one was walking across the road today, they were delivering fuel.
What do you do, take it to the other side of the road?
Well, I had to pick them up and take a look and see which way he was headed, because it was all tucked in
Yeah,
all
yeah, put 'em the
first.
same
So
way they're
I
headed.
picked them up and carried them off into the brush over by Kevin's
They're
there.
painted turtles, right?
Box turtle, yeah.
They're small.
And,
There's one on the runway today, one on the taxiway. They're everywhere.
but I haven't seen anybody in the field yet, pretty well.
Turtle soup for you?
No turtle soup for me.
So you try it.
I don't like it green.
I had frog legs. Frog legs are.
Yeah, those are good.
Frog leg tastes like chicken.
So does the turtle.
Well, turtle tastes like, I don't know. I had a friend of mine who ate
All
turtles.
turtles, turtles are not the same.
Far,
Yeah.
If there's one that likes good soup, this is not necessarily the one
Just a different.
crossing the runway.
You never know.
No.
I'm big on reptiles. Anything else for Gail other than the turtle soup?
No, you guys
Turtle
are rocking it. No.
Turtle soup recipe next
Right.
month?
Yeah.
I don't have one, so
I
that'll
can
have
get
to.
you one.
I will gladly take it.
You'll take it?
I'll take the recipe, I don't know, but I'll use it.
Turn like a turtle or two.
Well,
Everywhere.
Isabel, let me know if you get one with the one, or maybe we'll.
I'm trying not to.
Everybody?
Airport kill, airport kill?
Yeah.
Airport kill.
I had a friend of mine who had turtle steaks. He said, I didn't like them because they were green.
Ew.
Are they?
I don't know. He
It
doesn't-
depends on the turtle.
I picture more like a snail.
I've had snails before.
I like snails.
Oh,
That's good.
All right, let's see what our agenda says.
okay.
Am I next?
Yes.
Okay. I mentioned Mr. Beckner, he's very interested in speaking with the radios. He dug up the tops so that they could take a look. I've been mowing the lot. The budget has remained flat, just like last year. Repairs has gone up a little. It's gone up to, I think, 4,600. However, 1,600 of that is the annual fuel tank maintenance that comes out of that cost.
I saved a little bit of money this year on it because I got some dead cows I gotta replace, and I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. The budget is basically the same as last year. It's low, so we have to be careful. Bills are not done by Christine anymore. She is full-time HR, so I have taken on that responsibility. Dawn's lease does not expire until October. That was not supposed to happen in June. We really need a flight school here with actual airplanes that will be flying around, bringing commerce and people and activity. And by the way, since Fitchburg is closed for the next 2 weeks, FCA will be bringing some of their airplanes over here onto the ramp. Even though we're gonna be closed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, they're gonna come over here and at least be able to fly some over here. And if that works for him, he said it would, he's gonna bring some airplanes
I don't know what
over.
days you're gonna be closed.
They
That's the only,
mentioned later in the week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They said a solid 3 days. I said, can you do it in 2 maybe? And they said, I don't know. They want to do it all at once. But it's going to be later on next week. So Monday and Tuesday is going to be open. So FCA is coming
What's
Monday.
closing Fitchburg?
They're grooving the runway to prevent hydroplane, I guess.
yeah, they put in the slurry pits
For the
today,
jets
but
to land.
they gotta have to capture it, and then it's put it in a slurry pit, and then it's disposed of.
And then they take it away afterwards, yeah. And then the water, when it rains, the water goes into the grooves and there's no hydroplane. So anyway, they're coming on Monday. I told them they could come. They can leave if they're, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, go someplace else, come back. It's up to them, but I've offered the ramp to them, six tie downs if they would like it. So they will be here probably Monday. And I had a thought, maybe if they would like to leave a couple of airplanes here and do some flight instruction out of Gardner, that would be wonderful as well.
Do you have any idea what they're paying Fitchburg for?
More than they would be paying us.
Okay, well, then we need to do a pitch to them and see what we can do to get them here.
I think it would be a great
We
idea.
have to be careful, because I don't know if the policies allow
What policy for what?
for
Flight training.
flight training in businesses.
It's a regular liability policy. I've looked at it. It's large.
Their policy.
The whole airport policy.
Okay. But I was told that one of the things that's a stumbling block here is that businesses can't come in,
Why?
Why not?
because it's not the mayor or the city solicitor.
The last time we had a conversation,
Yeah,
that
that's what
was no problem to bring in new business.
Well, that's what I thought too,
Well, my plan is to increase revenue, and the only way to do that is
but
to,
get somebody here.
yeah, so we just have to look at the insurance policy and maybe update it.
Um,
All your hangars in the new building are filled, is that correct?
At the moment, yes.
Pardon?
At the moment, yes.
What's the rent they're receiving per unit?
$275, which is the lowest of all around in this area.
It's a low number, huh?
It's a very low number. Anyway, it's something to think about, but he's coming on Monday. I've offered it to him. We have plenty of tie downs on the ramp, and they can do what they want, come in, go
Right.
out. Yeah.
Because I'm trying to keep it so that the airport stays open as much as possible. But we can modify the notice to close if we have to close for certain hours. We can.
Yeah.
Because they were working 7 to 3
Yeah.
is all they working.
The
So
pavers.
Yeah, Fitchburg
Well,
is
the engineering firm and a rainmaker is working 7 to 3.
Fitchburg is closed all day and they reopen at night, but that doesn't help the flight school that
Well,
needs
they-
every single hour of flight time. So that's why they're coming here.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least we're making a,
Yeah.
affiliation with them and, maybe things would,
Well, that's why I was kind of hoping that's why I got the fuel before they started the ramp. Because I didn't want a tanker turning around on the ramp for the next 30 days. So.
Yeah.
other than that, it's-
okay. Remember I mentioned the electricity for the vault was $135 a month. I spoke to Tom Cullen and all of a sudden it went down to $28 a month.
Yeah, it doesn't need heat.
Well, that's possible. We did turn it down, or he turned it down. He said it can go as low as 48. He said, it also has air conditioning. He said, don't put it up over 80, you'll get condensation
Right.
on the equipment. But, so he must have adjusted it because it went right down. And that 100.
I think it's cheaper to air condition it than it is to heat it. Because I think the compressor works a lot harder than.
Yeah, so that's good news. And that's all I have.
How many planes coming in this month?
Yeah, you have the numbers?
Yes. I didn't get the detail of 48, 42 seconds, 81 minutes. 48, 42 seconds, 81 minutes.
Yeah, but how many
Yeah, I'll get the.
cycles is what I
Yeah, I didn't do
For
April.
both,
I gotta get April too.
yeah, April and May, because the minutes,
Yeah.
is good, but I need the cycles so that I can
Divide.
make a guess.
Yep, I'll get it. And that's all I have.
We do need some items for, and I can get together with you sometime. We're gonna need some, the magnetic or the tape recording for the tapes that go in the fuel system in this panel here. I think this one takes a big roll, but the small roll is what goes in that one, or the one,
Okay.
plus the one that's in there, so we gotta order to get those from that, and what else, there was a couple of other things too, at the list. But I can get together with it, I started with oil and stuff like that for the vehicles. Let's see, what else? Is there anything in new business that you want to tackle?
Old business. Here we go. Let's start
Did
working
we
on-
have a bunch of those?
Yes, I have a whole box of them. Everybody gets one.
Well, yeah, it would be nice to sit
I don't
there.
know if Gail needs to sit through.
No, they don't have
No,
to sit through it.
but I was gonna say, should we just study them and then pass them out to everybody? And
Well, I think
study
the
them
whole
and
part
then
of-
review a chapter or two at a time?
Whatever we can do, but needless to say, this has been going on for over a year, and we need to get it done. I can tell you all the stuff that we do have in here is all the leases are way out of date. You have all of the leases, so
Well,
we can make
they were keeping the leases at City Hall, I think.
eight copies or whatever that we could put in here. If anybody wants to look through, this was quite a few weeks of work to make. This is the original form from, you have yours, you want another one?
I would assume mine is the same as what you have.
Correct, yes.
That's why I think we, should we look through, like, I don't know how we wanna do it.
I did not label any of the tabs. I figured that we'd go through it, and when we make a final, then we could put the tabs in. Each book has a set of tabs. We could probably make them on the computer and make them really nice.
System for reviewing that stuff is kind of study it yourself and then come in and sit and have a group discussion, is the way I would do it.
So, if you guys want to look through this,
Little homework, let's put it
Right.
that way.
Little homework.
but again, this was a few weeks
To
worth
me,
of
it's
Of
essential
work.
to do it.
printing it all out. This is from 2006 through 2012, I believe. The information I got. So a lot of things have changed, so if you want to scribble on this of things that you want to see changed, when we do the new one, we can then do it.
All right, how far?
I don't know,
Chapters do
do
you
you guys
want?
want to take one chapter a month or 2 chapters a month? Some forward motion.
That's why I'm looking at you guys to answer the question.
All right, so if you want to go, just for grins, the first 3 pages,
Wow.
that's just the index of what we have. And I have everything put together by the index.
But I think that
So I've never done one of these before, so
Well, I'll go through and correct.
what I'm saying is, if we
Things
look
are
at,
wrong.
we can read through it, but I would start with substantive stuff in the chapter and then go back and make the modifications to the index as needed.
Right,
But
well,
have you guys look at it and then
okay,
we
so,
sit and spend an hour doing it and
so
do
I
one
guess
chapter.
we'll look through this and come back next month
Yeah.
and write some changes as far as you go on each one. Does that sound good for the commission?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Where was all this information parked?
All this information was on a hard drive.
It was on hard drives and there was a policy, the mayor had a copy and
So, John,
there was several copies at City Hall. I think there was even a hard copy. But I've got a hard copy and I gave everybody a copy of it when
according to,
Yes.
what I went through this,
Some-
City Hall did not have a hard copy of it, nor did the hard copy belong, it was in this airport. So-
Ken had the copy. Ken had the copy.
Right, he had the copy and he gave me, when I came on, he gave me the hard copy and then I had this and I gave a copy of the thumb drives to everybody.
Okay, well, I didn't get a thumb drive and I only got it from John,
It
so.
hasn't been updated for a long time.
Right, so-
Yeah, we'll update it.
Needless to say, we need to update it and bring us up, yeah, there's a reversion here from 2018.
It's all old.
Correct.
Yeah, but it doesn't, there are a lot of stuff in there, it just doesn't have to change. It's not, you just gotta be able to identify that when it was reviewed. And that would be posted on the, a version would be printed eventually. We go through it, we can do it by the chapter, or we can do it by total. But the ones that I've always seen, it doesn't, you have to just sit and line by line, paragraph by paragraph, and everybody says, oh, I read that paragraph, we all agree it's not gonna change.
Yep.
Next, and then go down through, but there are some sections that have to be either deleted or added.
And there's plenty of room for us to put our paperwork every month in our book. So everybody can have their own book and room to add to it.
Well, it's like I said, it's a document that I keep, that is the permanent stuff that from year to year, and it's a reference book. The meetings and all that sort of stuff are files.
Right.
And that's what I keep. And I have inherited all of the stuff that he had at home. I got about 2 boxes of papers. I found the 2012 2008, 6 and 8. And I found the original version. I found several revisions. You guys didn't change much, except AI added pages. A ton of pages for each section, but so I found all that sort of stuff. I found I've got a list of, I'm starting to put together a list. Just sorting through it because it's all in the flight safety duffel bags. And he's got about 10 of them. And then there's boxes and boxes and boxes full of stuff. And so I'm just going through it because I want to keep, I'm looking at the archiving at the museum and they're expanding. And so I have a friend of mine who's on the museum committee and we've talked about it and I'm going to approach them when I get to a point when I want to have a secure place to store them. Because there was one of the mayors in the past that an intern, I think, and he saw her just picking up stuff off the shelf and throwing it away.
Oh, gosh.
And he grabbed as much stuff as he could and took it home.
Yep.
And that's the stuff that I'm trying to fix now.
Yeah.
So
Will they digitize that for you or just store it?
they may, like the storing the stuff, because it's a museum, they can rotate through the thing, present stuff.
Yeah, if I'm having trouble following
History,
this,
We'll pick this up.
a lot of the stuff you don't have.
like reading FARs.
Yeah, and a lot of them, there's a lot of things that reference everything else, so you
Yeah.
gotta be real.
Other thing that we had in the old business is Dominic, about his lease, if we were going to continue it or let it go.
I think we should get a flight school. I think we should do that first. Because the flight school has the planes, and the planes get worked on. If you do the worked on part first, I mean, new mechanic might be sitting around because there isn't enough activity. I think we need to get the flight school and.
Yeah, but we still need to talk about him, because if he is to move to another airport, it's gonna take him time.
Right, okay.
And never mind, I would not wanna bring a flight school in or another mechanic into that condition of that hangar. That hangar needs quite a bit of updating, it needs a new roof, a new ceiling, it needs real windows.
It
So,
does, but we don't have the budget for that, that's the trouble.
Well, this is where it comes into our master plan and our monies that are available. There's what, 100,000 every year for us to use?
150?
150 for each year to use. So needless to say, we cannot do the updates to that hangar with him in it. So if we have monies coming available through our master plan, I would rather be proactive than reactive.
There's a lot of things other than just the buildings too that have to come out of that.
Correct, but an
So
easy
it's-
20 grand, I would think, we could make that hangar very appealing to a flight school and another mechanic.
No, not at all.
Well, without looking into it, we can't shut it down. The idea of it.
But, I mean, the idea, 20 grand, can't even paint the building, say nothing about
We
doing it.
already have a quote for painting the building, which was what, $6,000?
It was less than 6,000.
Okay, so we
Yeah, we
already
got a
have
deal.
quotes, we already have quotes for that.
If you kick Dominic out of this hangar, you have something concrete that you know is out there that can replace him?
I would be very
Okay.
careful.
How much is Dominic paying in the way of monthly rent?
20 days?
20 days.
He does
He's,
catch up
he's
at
paying,
times.
I have to look into it.
I would think a first step would be to find a truly interested party who is willing to talk about what he chooses to do with the property and how much he'd be willing to pay, and before you proceed with just creating an empty space at great expense.
Right.
And let me tell you, there's so much stuff in that hangar that it wouldn't surprise me if Dominic just walks away from the mess.
No.
That's what I do with some, how you gonna move some of those decapitated airplanes?
Well, yeah, those belong, well, he has two in there that he owns.
Yeah.
The other two are customers. And,
They're not in flyable condition, there's a.
well, he's trying to get the Arrow put together,
Yeah,
and he got sabotaged by Eric on that one. So, he's had his troubles, but, here again, it's up to him to move his stuff out, not us.
Right,
And-
this is why it could take months for him to move anything.
Right, but I don't, that's why I say I don't know, we're not in any position to,
and Dominic has a full-time job, this is part-time stuff for him, is it not?
Correct.
at the moment, yes, because he has to survive somehow.
No, absolutely.
And I know a lot of the mechanics, a lot of them have, it's scary for them to move, especially. I know a couple of my mechanics moved twice, and he had a lot of problems out of North Adams when he moved out where he was. But it's, they have a lot of equipment, they need a lot of equipment. And I know Mac, when he was in here, he had a machine shop, a real cutting edge machine shop for what he was doing, because he ended up with all his, some planes he was manufacturing stuff for.
But the other thing is, we have them listed on our S&P as, what do you call it?
FBO,
A what?
FBO.
FBO.
Yeah, but FBOs are
And he is
people,
not doing that.
no, he's not the FBO.
He's listed as it.
Well, that's because it hasn't been updated. but I know he's not the FBO anymore, because FBOs, they ended up paying him for, he was doing the fuel and all that sort of stuff, and he wasn't doing it.
Right.
And
Oh, the
so,
city was paying him?
well, he was getting a percentage of all the fuel sales.
Oh.
And we took that away from him when, years before I was on. But Kenny, I remember telling me about it, and then I was using him for reference on all that stuff. But I think you gotta be very careful, because most FBOs have to make a living. And a lot of them, they're hard, because nowadays everything is just super expensive. And that's something that has to be really looked at separately. But
we can't improve that with him in it. And if this airport is to go forward in the plans that we have, he's holding us back.
yes and no.
It's more yes than it is than no.
Activity is holding us back.
Correct, so, but the thing is, we got a beautiful runway, we got a beautiful field, a field now, we're gonna have a new apron, we've been remodeling the building, we have money coming in. It's time that we step up to the plate and make the changes that we need in this airport to have it done.
You gotta get the council on board with that.
I have no problem, we can get the council on board with that. I've already been in contact with the council.
Be very careful, because things are changing.
Yeah, things are changing every day there. But you know what, if you don't stick your nose out or your foot out, you never know. And I ain't afraid to get mine stomped on. So, I'd like to see us do something, even if it's wrong.
Oh, we are.
Something is better than nothing,
Let's talk about it, yeah.
right?
Let's,
Okay.
sleep on it, talk about it.
Okay, so if there's nothing more, I would say everybody, at least the first chapter, will sit and, we can't meet without, we have to, the open meeting rules require that if there's more than 3 people on the commission together, we have to declare it, and it has to be done 48 hours before the meeting, and has to be recorded.
Well, it's fine, so we do every month.
And I don't want to keep everybody here, especially during the summer months, when it's so hard in the heat.
So next time we get together, are we going to review a portion of this handout?
Start with the
Yes.
That would be
First.
great.
substantive, not just the index, but
What portion of the handout are we to review between now and the next
I
meeting?
don't know, you got 1, 2, how about 4 tabs?
4 tabs in.
All right, how's that?
I can remember that.
Sounds reasonable. All right.
okay. That's why
Yeah, yes, I think
Yeah,
that'd be great.
decide on that.
If we did 4 tabs a month, we could have this done by January.
Yeah.
How's that?
And then we have to
Are we
submit.
looking for commas and spelling errors and what are we looking for?
I'll do that.
This is what we get to scribble on.
I'll do that when I fix
Scribble
it.
on where you
You do everything.
think that you
He's
need
gonna
to
be
change.
doing it into the computer.
I'll do it.
Okay. Sounds like a plan, because we have this in digital form, so we can scan everything, and then we can change it to PDF and whatever they call that, PDF editor.
As long as we can enter I've been wrestling with trying to get the minutes emailed in and have it printed
Is
out.
there an MTT hangar
Can't do it.
on this property that we could relocate down there and tell them to get
No, we have a city hangar that is,
full of trucks?
No?
no, the next
Empty.
one next to it, I've made that into a transient hangar. So in the wintertime, when somebody flies in, and somebody did fly in last winter, and they couldn't go further, they were going to Norwood, were they? You don't remember? Okay, they were going to Norwood, and there was weather, so they had to stop, and they left the plane here, and Jim drove them to the hotel.
No, that was, guys were waiting for the weekend.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that is, Dominic used to be in that hangar. Ken let him be in there. I got all the stuff out of
I
there.
remember that.
So now it's a transient hangar
Oh, he is.
for future.
That was because he
It's
wasn't
not
paying
for,
rent.
yeah, I don't want to put anybody in there. But that
So-
is, that's a thought. That is a good thought. But I did want to keep it as a transient.
Here's another piece of information, it's personal, I guess, but my partner has sold his airplane, so my hangar is now 50% unused. It's pretty good size, it's 52 by 54 or something. So if anybody knows anybody looking to rent hangar space,
I'm hoping to purchase 182 I need to put together.
that would be fine. 182 would certainly fit in there, but at least for the moment, his half of that hangar is not for sale, so we're just planning to rent it.
That's fine.
If I hear anything.
And it's
I did mention to
a nice structure.
Bove, or whatever his last name is, Tom.
Yes, yeah, and there was a gentleman who just bought a 182Q. And I told him there was nothing available.
Well, now you can say there's one available.
Well,
What are you gonna want for it?
his,
My last tenant was absolutely nuts. It almost came to fisticuffs, so I'm gonna want to avoid that kind of situation again.
no, what do you want to-
Just for nuttiness first.
Okay, do we want to close the meeting now?
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
What time? Do we have an